We've got some Carnival Cruise news. Carnival Cruise Lines has made a change. They are changing from Coca-Cola products to Pepsi products, and I am a huge fan of Pepsi, so I'm kind of happy about that. For the most part. Let me first read the statement that was issued by John Heald, and then we can dive in. So here's what it was. It was Carnival Cruise Line selects PepsiCo as preferred beverage partner. Carnival Cruise Line will begin serving PepsiCo products in January 2020, right after our next cruise. So we definitely got to get booked again to see what this implementation is like. And as we go through, you'll see I've got some questions. So this was announced on November 13th of 2019. In a place called Purchase, New York. Interesting name for a place. But I'm in Paradise, Nevada, so, whatever. They call it Las Vegas, but I believe the municipality is actually called Paradise. So, okay, Vegas, you're a little confident there. Maybe overconfident? I don't know. This is fun. I don't know if I'd call it Paradise. So anyways, PepsiCo Inc. is partnering with Carnival Cruise Line, the world's most popular cruise line. That's true. They have the largest fleet. To become the preferred beverage partner for its North American fleet. So I suppose this isn't impacting the Australian fleet, so that's an important thing to note. Beginning in January 2020, Carnival Cruise Line will begin serving a variety of beverages from the PepsiCo portfolio, featuring premier brands from Starbucks ready-to-drink coffee to fast-growing bubbly sparkling water, which I am not a fan of. Personal taste thing. If you like it, all the more power to you. You may have my allotment. You may have my quota. I am not interested in the bubbly. Not that kind of bubbly. When the transition is complete, Carnival guests will have a broad selection of beverage choices from iced tea, sparkling water, coffee drinks, and sports drinks to juices and soft drinks, including an array of low-calorie and no-sugar options. What I find interesting there is the inclusion of iced tea, because oftentimes, with the American definition of iced tea, it's unsweetened. So this is like literally tea that has been chilled, with like potentially ice cubes and, like some lemon flavoring. Sort of like that's how you'd make it at home. And like I grew up on a little bit of that as a kid, so I can kind of appreciate it. But in terms of the prepackaged stuff, it doesn't really do it for me. If it's prepackaged stuff, I like the Nest tea, the stuff that has it has some sugar to it. So I'm wondering, the iced tea on the ship I don't currently like. My son Julian is great at creating Arnold Palmer's, which is a 50-50 mix of iced tea and lemonade, because those are both things on the ship. Neither of them on their own, honestly, do I think are very good, but he combines them with a little bit of sugar in a magical way. So like my 12-year-old son is my bartender on the cruise ship when it comes to that sort of thing. Because I don't like that iced tea, I do often get the bottomless bubbles, and I have booked the bottomless bubbles for our upcoming Panorama sale. So, that's nice to have that taken care of and not have to worry about it. At Carnival Cruise Line, we invite our guests to choose fun, and now with PepsiCo's extensive portfolio of brands, we're able to give them more ways to choose a beverage that suits their taste, mood, and preference. So it did include, for example, sports drinks. And so like, are we going to have like a Powerade type beverage that'll be available and hopefully included in bottomless bubbles? Or maybe as a free option, maybe from like we have right now with iced tea and lemonade. I think that would be cool. That would be great if it was an expansion. PepsiCo's lineup of beverages will give our guests access to leading brands in growing non-soda categories like iced tea, juice, and sparkling water, as well as popular soft drink brands that consumers love. We're also excited to work with PepsiCo on our shared commitment to sustainability, including a reduced reliance on plastics and alternative ways to deliver and serve water and other beverages. Now, you notice I put some emphasis on certain parts there. Sustainability makes me wonder. I had a conversation during a Q&A session on the Carnival Breeze, I believe it was, with the beverage manager. And I asked about Coke Freestyle machines. If you're unfamiliar with these, they are programmed and programmable fountain dispensers where you can have all sorts of flavor combinations. My personal favorite is a raspberry Coke and a peach Sprite. Those are both fantastic, but there's tons and tons of stuff and you can mix and combine and it's awesome. And I would love that to come to Carnival for a couple of reasons. One, the flavor combinations are outstanding. Two, and frankly more importantly, I want self-serve soda options. I want it badly. They have self-serve beer, they have self-serve wine, but they don't have self-serve soda? Like, you need to control access to beer and wine more than you do soda because of age restrictions, for one thing. As well, how does a machine know when to cut somebody off if they've had too many? So clearly those are non-issues for them. Whereas with soda, if you have the Bottomless Bubbles program, you have to go up to the bar, wait your turn, show your card. They go and grab a can and they pour it and crush it and throw it in a thing. and then you're able to go on your way. And you get they put a bunch of ice in it. They put a straw with a little thing on the top. You got to, get rid of that and leave a mess. You probably, you might get more or less ice than you want. So, you might have to ask, a little ice, and then, you're being difficult. And then, and then there's the whole question of tipping, which I'm not going to get into in this video. Get at me in the comments if you want. Express your opinion down below. If you're watching this on YouTube, tell me all about that. Like, if you use bottomless bubbles, do you tip every single time? I'm not going to express an opinion there, partly because I'm actually inconsistent in that regard. But let's leave that for the comment section for now. We might do a tipping video in the future, but I am just not brave enough yet. There's a sensitive issue in this community, and I respect the fact that it's sensitive. So anyways, if there was self-service, I think this would be great for everyone. I think it's great for the customer because hopefully it would be faster. It would be greater. It would be better for Carnival because they would have their staff not so busy. How many times, I have to wonder, do people think about going to buy that fancy cocktail and then they see the line and they say, nah, that's okay. I'll have a water. I'll have an iced tea. I'll have a lemonade. Something that doesn't cost them anything and therefore doesn't benefit Carnival's bottom line. So I think by reducing the lines at the bar, they would improve profits because I think they would sell more alcoholic beverages, which, as I understand it, have a better profit margin, a better, higher markup on them. Additionally, I think the staff, if they are serving more of those kinds of beverages that frankly take more work and artistry and effort than pouring a can into a cup, are more likely to get more tips. Carnival makes more money. Their employees make more money. The customers get more value out of their stuff. And also, I think, and here's where sustainability comes in. I imagine, my understanding is the canisters of syrup combining with, the available water supply and stuff like that in those machines, much better for the environment than cans. These aluminum cans, they have to mine the ore and refine it. And, there is some recycling, but they also got to, there's the coloring and the printing on it. And then the transporting of the can. And it's transported with mostly water in it because beverages that we drink are mostly water. So if you're able to just combine syrup on site with local water supply through reverse osmosis on the ship, for example, then, the water isn't being transported. And so that reduces the carbon footprint. We're not moving as much aluminum, we're not moving as much water. We're able to get it down to its core so that less carbon is spent moving those things across the nation, maybe internationally even, depending on bottling and supply lines. And so also, I imagine that further has a cost savings where they're not constantly loading cans on the forklift and everything else and the staff crushing them and throwing them in a thing and that thing has to go somewhere. Instead, you have canisters. They would take up less space, probably, they would weigh less on average because the water's not there. There would be fewer of them. And I don't know about the maintenance of these machines. When I spoke with that beverage manager on the Breeze, he did mention that they had to be secured in a particular way. But I also know that there are other cruise lines that should be remaining nameless that have Coke Freestyles on them. The technology exists. So it's out there, it's proven, it's doable. So what my rant there is getting to is Pepsi does have their own programmable fountains. Now, I love Pepsi. I think it tastes better than Coke. That's my personal preference. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments. If you're watching on YouTube, get me in the comments. Come at me. I don't care. Come at me, bro. It's a matter of taste. I respect people having a different opinion there. I like having options. But that having been said, I will definitely give it to Coke that their Freestyle machine is leagues ahead of Pepsi's. Pepsi has 3 flavors you can add: lemon, strawberry, cherry. That's about it. And the flavors aren't even that great. I add a little extra lemon to something, I don't taste it that much. Cherry doesn't really taste like cherry sometimes, The strawberry could be a little strawberry, or it could be stronger, But at the same time, it's really about the self-service. More than the other things. But I think that would be great. Now, some people, I've brought this up before, and in the comments and in Facebook groups, they have mentioned that when they go to their local movie theater and they have the Freestyle, they say there's a lot of the flavor contamination. That has not been my personal experience. I haven't experienced that at all, and I love these machines, so I go to them every chance I get. But hey, if that does happen in some cases, that could be a maintenance thing. They might need to clean the lines a little bit, but again, I think versus all the work that goes around those cans, I think it would be better all the way around. But it's interesting that they mention plastic. They want to reduce the reliance on plastics. How much plastic is there in relation to those cans? They come out of 12 packs. Also 12 packs, really, not flats. So like there's almost no plastic involved there. Maybe they plastic wrap like the skids of them when they're like the forklift brings it on the ship. Other than that, I don't think there's a lot of plastic involved. Maybe they mean straws. Straws are a whole other thing. I hate paper straws. They dissolve. Who thought making a straw, a vessel to carry liquid, being something that can dissolve, was a good idea? I'm all for the environment. There's plant-based straws that could be biodegradable that you could use as an alternative. Let's do that. Or let's find a way to recycle these straws. Whatever of those two options is better for the environment, but paper straws suck. Well, in fact, actually, they don't, because they lose their cohesion and you can't. So, pun not intended, but I hate paper straws. I want to save the environment, but it is a ticking time bomb. If I get a paper straw and I'm like, wow, this drink is too big, I cannot consume it before that straw dissolves. So I should have bought a smaller one. I should have spent less money, which means that the person that I'm buying it from, that company, organization, franchisee, whatever it is, makes less money. And so there's impacts in, the financial economic side of things as well there. A little bit off topic, but I'm excited about the possibility of maybe self-serve. I really hope that. As they cruise, Carnival Cruise Line guests will be able to enjoy some of their favorite PepsiCo brands, such as Bubbly, Pure Leaf. I don't like Pure Leaf very much myself. I do like Pure Leaf more than the iced tea currently available on the ship, though, so maybe that's not so bad. That'd be a slight step up. Naked Juice, as I understand, that stuff's very healthy. And I think that'd be healthier than what's currently available. So from a health perspective, I believe that has less sugar, more fiber, things like that. I think that's a great improvement. As a parent, I appreciate that. As a person who would like to get his weight a little bit more under control, I appreciate that option. Gatorade, there we go. So I was talking about sports drinks, Gatorade, Mountain Dew, Starbucks, Pepsi Zero Sugar, Sierra Mist Zero Sugar, among others. Our brands both celebrate having fun and offering something special for everyone, making PepsiCo and Carnival Cruise Line a great match, said Anne Fink, president of PepsiCo Global Food Service. We are excited to share the voyage as we create enjoyable, seamless experiences for Carnival Cruise Line passengers while they enjoyed their fun vacations at sea and ashore. So as I understand it, there are a couple ports where, one or two, where Carnival actually has like food and beverage that they themselves serve on the shoreline. So I'm thinking that's maybe what they're referring to. Although I also wonder, maybe there's like vending machines in the ports, in the waiting areas. Maybe there'll be some options there. So that's an interesting thing to think about. As the world's most popular cruise line, Carnival Cruise Line annually sails more than 5.2 million guests. Its fleet of 26 ships will grow to 28 with the delivery of the Carnival Panorama, I can't wait, in December 2019, and the Mardi Gras in August 2020. Maybe I should try and get on that. What do you think? Yeah, so anyways, it goes on from there that John Heald kind of introduces his thoughts. One thing that people were freaking out about, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm not being critical by saying that. It's understandable. I had this concern, but people were worried, understandably, that there would be a price increase on the beverages or the Bottomless Bubbles program associated with this because, and I've talked about this on the podcast before, there's a clip on YouTube you can check about the Bottomless Bubbles price, the second increase they did in almost as many years, well beyond what inflation would justify to a ridiculous degree. As a percentage, as a dollar per day, amount, it doesn't sound that much, but as a percentage, that's when you realize this is borderline usurious. I know usury is about borrowing money, but anyways, the point is the increases were ridiculous. And so I thought, oh great, this is how they're going to get number 3 in. He explicitly stated that there is currently no plans to increase the price. Now, that phrasing is obviously very careful and very corporate because it says no plans. That doesn't mean they won't. They're not guaranteeing anything. But given how corporations need to be careful with their language, it doesn't surprise me that he would have to phrase it that way because what if, 5 years from now they do it? You don't want somebody coming up and digging up a Facebook post from old 2019 and saying, John Heald said. So it's not a never thing. And so I think that they hopefully learned their lesson over the last couple increases. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'd be curious to see if the sales of Bottomless Bubbles went up or down. But anyways, I'm excited about it. I like Pepsi, and I think that anything that gives the potential for self-service soda options would make the cruising experience, again, better for the guests, more profitable for the company, and potentially it would actually improve tips for the staff. I think it's win-win-win, and then a win for the environment as well. So let's go for self-service.